bumping away and streaming for all to see. El Cachorro, El Cachorro. There's a dawn of superheroes here today for you and me. El Cachorro, El Cachorro.
What's up, Cachorrites? Welcome back to another El Cachorro video. We're going to try a new little area here from the channel here, a new little series that we're going to start. And it's going to be about my foray into anime. So I've never had anything against anime. I've never really watched much of it. I mean, there's probably some stuff that would somewhat fall under the category of anime. But mostly, I mean, I've watched animated stuff. I've watched like comic book stuff, DC, the DC movies, Marvel stuff. There was some Marvel anime stuff that I did way back when. I think there was a X-Men, an Iron Man, and a Wolverine thing that was done by some anime artist that we watched. And just quiet you. But maybe some stuff that kind of is like what actually falls under the category of anime is always the interesting part. So what is the actual definition? Let's find out. A style of Japanese film and television animation typically aimed at adults as well as children, as like manga. So stuff that probably wouldn't fall under that category. Like I watched the Camp Cretaceous stuff that I wouldn't consider that anime. So more stuff. My first real more foray into anime probably was the Godzilla movies on Netflix. Thankfully, I've opened up to watching more anime since those were so terrible. Now, the Godzilla Singular Point was, I guess, would fall under anime too, and that was much more enjoyable. And I did enjoy it. So, obviously, Netflix opened up the doors for a lot more stuff. And I'm looking, I looked over my view history to see what all can I put, because I'm trying to figure out where would we want to start my anime reviews. So, and I tracked back, obviously I watched some of the live action stuff they did. The Cowboy Bebop, which I didn't hate. Obviously, I was not familiar with the actual anime itself, but I didn't hate it. The Airbender and One Piece. Obviously, I really liked One Piece as well. So I did watch some of the live action stuff. The other animes I would have watched on Netflix, trying to figure out where I want to start. I've been kind of all around. So obviously, Arcane really got me into watching more animated stuff on Netflix. I wouldn't really call that and follow that under anime. But there was some here and there things that I'd watch. The Delicious in Dungeon, which I never finished. Gamera, obviously that goes back to the big IPs that I'm familiar with, like Terminator, Tomb Raider, Castlevania, Blood of the Zeus. That was I tried Twilight of the Gods, the Zack Snyder one. That was me. So the He-Man stuff. So I trying to figure out what was the first real anime that kind of got me more started on this anime kick I've been on for like the last 2 months or so. And where I ended up deciding to start the series at, if you obviously from the title you'll know, is, so we start with Dan to Dan. So I'm not sure what I watched before this, but you watch something and Netflix will suggest stuff to you, and sometimes they'll suggest stuff to you after you get done watching something. Not quite sure where this one fell in, but it was this weird looking anime. It dealt with aliens. It dealt with ghosts. It sounded kind of cool. So I decided to, hey, let's check this show out. and it has a really good art style. I did watch the dub version, and I thought the voice cast was pretty good. Maybe I'll go back and watch the subtitled version in its original as well, because it does have some. Now that I've watched a few other things, it's got some people who's done some other stuff that I've watched, which we will talk about in future videos, including the next two should be very interesting because in the next two I go down a really big rabbit hole. So obviously, Dan Dan's star is built around these two characters, Momo and Okura, or Kinotemare. These two high school students who go on these adventures together and are our main two stars of the show. It opens up with pretty much them meeting each other for the first time. He's a big alien guy, she's a big ghost guy, and they don't believe in the other one. She don't believe in aliens, he don't believe in ghosts. And that kind of leads to the whole opening plot of the big dare. She dares somebody to go somewhere haunted, and he dares her to go to a alien hotspot. And if whoever finds proof of the other one exists, loses the bet. And we'll get more into the plot stuff later. So then, as the story goes on, we are introduced. They bring in some other characters to our mix. The first being Momo's grandma, Sikio, who becomes as a ghost medium and exorcist kind of person, who's kind of their pretty much sets up where their living arrangements and stuff like that. We also get the preppy ditz popular girl Eri. I'm thinking I'm saying that right. I can't remember. She becomes kind of the first little love interest that gets kind of with our main two, which we'll talk about it. We also introduce is Gigi towards the end of the season, and he goes bigger into season 2. As most of season 2, it does revolve around his character. And we can't forget Turbo Granny, who is also a pivotal part to the character. So what happens in this show is a lot of our characters get ghost powers, demon powers. They get merged with a spirit and gain powers from the spirits, and they use it to fight the evil of the aliens, and they fight other spirits. So it's a pretty cool action show. It's got good comedy. It's got good art. It's got good music. So it was really, so this show really kind of drew me in. It was fun. I enjoyed it. So you see they fought aliens and spirits were the big things. A lot of the story also is about the budding romance between these two characters as they get closer and closer. And start. So, the typical anime thing, which I've come to realize is where they won't kind of just come out and straight up say that they have feelings for each other. They just kind of tease it and think, and get the inner monologues of it. Hers becomes a little more obvious than his. He always has the feelings, but then he always goes back to her just being his good friend. As we talk about the story, so like I said, it opens up with a dare. She gets abducted by an alien. He meets a ghost, and the ghost kind of possesses him, and he was able. And then her for the aliens unlocks her ability, where she unlocks this ability where she has some psychic powers. And they obviously they beat the aliens, and then the first arc of the series is about them dealing with his being possessed by the evil spirit, which is Turbo Granny, and about them expelling him from him. So, but he gets to keep the powers. He got to keep the transformation and the powers, and then Turbo Granny gets put into. It gets put into the cat. So there's it is a mature show, So there's no like actual, even though I think Netflix says it's got nudity, I don't. It's like the anime nudity is like the persons might be in compromising positions, and there might be some scenes where they're naked, but you don't see anything. They don't like show really anything, but it's just implied kind of more stuff, and some more sexual jokes. When he gets possessed, he loses all his goodies, his precious bits, and another show will focus on the banana organs. As the aliens will call it, even the women's banana organs. So there is, and then there's the obviously the angles and imagery, stuff like that. From what I picked up, that's kind of common for anime, from what I've watched so far. But overall, though, it's got the comedy between the characters is good. It's a good action show, sci-fi elements, supernatural elements. So after they go through that, and he keeps his powers. The next story arc revolves around the fact that, well, he got he got his banana back. He is still missing his grapefruits. And the first story, and that's where we introduce our character Irie, who finds one of them, which allows her to start seeing ghosts, and starts our first triangle, as she believes Momo is evil, and she also has feelings for Okura and wants to save him and try and get a relationship with him going, which also leads to her bonding with a ghost that gives her powers. And this was where the show really shocked me, because this show took a very big arc sort of here. So the first scene is her breaking up with her boyfriend. It did feel, that one kind of felt like, okay, what kind of show am I getting? Because he's kind of acting like a pimp sort of in a way, or street thug. But then it goes into like the lights-hearted drama. But then we're going to the series with Aries' character, and they're taking on what was it called? The Acrobat Silky. We find out the backstory of the Acrobat Silky. She was a single mother trying to raise a child, doing what she could to make money, including prostitution, and she gets pretty much beaten to death by, I guess, a pimp, and they steal her kid. And the art, and this totally switched to like this real serious, dramatic art style for this. And it was like, wow, it was movie now. I'm not gonna lie, it was like, it really like hit. I was like, oh man, this is so sad. And she kind of latches on to Irie at the time, because when she first turns into a spirit, she's looking for something, and Irie as a child could see her, and she thought that was her daughter, and so she ends up giving her powers. So I guess this show can tug at your heartstrings a little bit from time to time. And it makes her now a major character. Then we have some more antics with aliens. And their triangle going. And then the season 1 ended with them bringing in the character Gigi, who was a childhood friend. Sorry, where's Gigi? Gigi, the childhood friend of Momo. There's something going on with his family home, and the season ends with them going there to figure out what's going on there. And then took a break for a while. After I watched that, because season 2, when I initially watched the first season, season 2 wasn't out yet. So, because it kind of states when season 2 technically debuted on Netflix. So then, earlier this month, I did finally binge the second season. So, which continues that arc, and Gigi now gets combines with a spirit, the Evil Eye, and you have some insane battles with him as an evil before they finally get him under control. I mean, there's like the first arc of the series of them fighting him is insane. They're also fighting the Mongolian worm thing that's terrorizing the town as well. So there's got a nice big story arc there, and I mean that whole story arc is is like the first 4 episodes of that season. So yeah, so it starts out with that, and then they go into trying to see if they can, he can control the evil eye. Well, then we get the theory. They get to the point where if he is cold, I think something about cold water turns him into the evil eye. There's gonna be another show that's gonna involve the ethics of water hitting someone that we're gonna talk about next on the next episode. So obviously that's must be a kind of a similar theory in some of these shows as well. So it's all about, should they exorcise the demons? Can he control the demons? So we get that as a story arc for a bit there. And then we kind of get some filler episodes, and then it ends with a big battle against a kaiju. So you gotta throw a kaiju in there because it's gotta get the kaiju in there. And so it's all overall pretty solid arc. So most seasons are really, really good and entertaining. I think the next season is not supposed to come out till not even 2027. I remember reading, which is ridiculously long. That's like over a year away. So maybe, I don't know, when the third season come out, maybe if it's dropping one episode at a time, maybe we'll do episode breakdowns instead of binging the whole thing at once, which I do like to do that. Like, not good, like Fallout, the new Fallout series. I haven't even watched it yet because I don't like. I want to wait till I had a couple episodes built up and then binge a bunch together. So I don't know. So see, but this show opened the door for me, or this show got me into like, hey, this anime stuff's pretty cool. And I've opened up a new rabbit hole that a couple other shows are really gonna set me down. But overall, this is my. I don't want to say it's my first anime because I've obviously watched a few stuff that's fallen in the category, but this is really like opened up a new window for me to like I starting to get interested in this stuff more. And so, really cool. Definitely learning. I watched some of these more shows. Learned some of the tropes that you always get from animes, and some of the ridiculousness of it. And some of them have been surprisingly moving and very heartfelt and touching. But this show is definitely get by the hope. The anime is really cool in it. They do some really cool art styles with it, and that not seen that I've not ever seen in a cartoon like format before. But very very. So I thought we'd open up with this one is the El Cachorro Explores anime series goes. I have no idea what to call this playlist. But haven't really had anything going on with the channel, so I thought we'd try something new here. I mean, my other videos kind of haven't lost much traction, and I've gone like a month without uploading anything, mainly because my editing system has changed and it's becoming more of a hassle to edit the videos together than it was before. It's a little more trickier and I can't do as much of the fancy stuff as I used to. I don't know. I still have to figure out what I want to do with that moving forward. We do have a new mic, so we are using a new mic now. So hopefully this sounds good, because that was my birthday present. But yes, Dan to Dan is a definitely watch anime. Highly recommend it. Obviously, it's a very popular anime, so I don't think so if people know what I'm talking about, they already know it's a highly watched anime. But hey, stay tuned with me as we explore some other stuff, including some definitely animes you don't usually go talking about to people. Nothing like what you're thinking. So they're all like, safe to watch. SFW, safe for no, I wouldn't say that anything safe for work. I mean, they do have questionable topics, but yeah. So I'm not talking about that kind of stuff. But yeah, Boom. Definitely a good start. Let's see if there's anything else to mention here. It's got some good voice cast, and after some of the voice cast, I was like, wow, I've seen. No, I mean, not the American ones so far. The dub voices were pretty. I don't, the dubbing's really good, but the Japanese voice actors are definitely some I've seen and have witnessed in other shows, including, a, the one about we're going to talk about in the next couple episodes of this series. This show's actually been I mean, they actually even put this. I just went and saw like part of the opening of season 2 in the theater. I thought about doing that because it was actually in a local theater. So this show's obviously big enough where they've actually had some theater debuts. Maybe with the third season, if they do that again, might do that. I don't know if the third season is going to have a massive opening like this one did. Like season 2 had a really big opening. Like I said, they were started off with them fighting like this Mongolian death worm, then the formation of the Evil Eye, and led to this huge battle scene between Okura and the Evil Eye, which was absolutely just insanity. It was just amazing, which was just straight anime. And see any other nicknames? So about Juju. So we got over the main cast of characters and their interactions. But we'll say she was kind of sidelined a lot for season 2. I feel she was not she was not involved in the whole opening stretch, so they kind of left her behind. Oh, this has won some awards, apparently. Care. Yeah, can't find the voice actors. Where's the top cast? I guess right there. Where's I at? So 14 episodes she's in, so of 24. So obviously she wasn't in like the first 3 or 4 of the first season before she debuted. So there's about a good handful of second season. She's not a major character. Just disappears for a little bit as well. But she's a cool character though. She's plays the ditzy popular girl to get all the boys' attention, but then she believes she's just on this mission from heaven to take down the evil. And she believes Momo is the evil person, while also having where her love interest for his character's kind of downplayed as it becomes more his as a love interest for the Momo. They play the whole little love triangle thing. But we do have some cool designs. We got a Nessie-like thing. These alien guys are great. We got a sumo type alien thing. It's not pictured here, but there's a mantis shrimp guy. The kaiju is actually pretty cool. And then the big reveal. I guess we can talk about the ending now. 23 minutes, so keep this under half an hour. So the big ending, after they beat the kaiju, they take starts off small, then it gets really big, and then it gets small after they beat it because they're real small again. So they find out it's actually a suit, and in the suit is a cute little alien girl who wakes up and kisses Okura. And that's where the season leaves off, with him getting kissed and everyone, Momo, seeing it. So I guess we're getting a teasing of a new female love interest to love triangle to see where that goes. But so it's a really very it's really the show captivates you and keeps you locked in. The humor is good, and good action and all that good stuff. So yes, so this would be the start of my anime journey. Official. There's probably a few more. Some of them I might go back and watch again. Some of them are stuff you just put on to go to sleep. So, some of the stuff before that was stuff I put on to go to sleep too, because just something cause I like to sleep with the TV on. Couldn't. Although we will make a whole episode about a show that started off that way and totally addicted me. I didn't sleep. I watched the entire, binged the whole first season in the middle of the night because I couldn't fall asleep. But yeah, that's episode. That will be episode 3 of the series. But yes, so if I rated Dan to Dan, I would give this. So how do we do this one? Do we do my movie review goals, which is, that goes up to 10? Or do we do something different for this one? So let's make this stick out. So we'll do 5 on animes on the series. So Dan and Dan, we will give this one straight up a 5. This was, or pretty close to it. It's hard to say. I don't know what is like the greatest anime as well. I mean, there's some that's been going on forever that I don't know if we'll might get around to. So at least 4.5 to 5. This is definitely if you're going to get into anime, it's one you should watch. It's definitely worth it. But for like the action anime. So yeah, keep subscribe to the channel if you want to see where this goes. Sorry, this is an awkward first video because I'm just trying to figure out how I want to do this and set this up. So tune in, subscribe, and hit the bell and wait for the next episode, and we'll try and get the next one out here shortly. Until then, Cachorro out.